right, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order.
Supposed to go to it.
Thank you all for being here today,
Theo told me to go.
especially Carmen Houston, who does a fabulous job for us every day.
Every day.
There you go. First order of business is looking at the minutes from our last board meeting on August 9th. Assume everybody's had a chance to take a look at them. Is there a motion to approve? So, is there a second? No, nobody wants a second?
Second.
All right, there you go, that's fine. All right. Somebody was here to do it. Good, motion seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, minutes have been approved. Next order of business is recognition of Judy Penner.
Yes, Judy. Come on up. Judy was recognized by the Environmental Commission for some great work in the reduction of chemical use. So tell us about your award, Judy.
This award was for lowering the amount of nitrogen
that I use in the garden. I lowered it by over 50% by using a natural fertilizer that has 3% nitrogen without any deficit to the plants. They still bloomed well and did very well. So that, not only doing that, but also using mycelium, which helps the roots to develop and become stronger. By having these two combination ingredients put in to the garden, I was able to reduce the amount of chemicals that I spray for the black spot by 50%.
Wow.
So have done quite a bit with this since 2008. And I have a test form here if you're interested in it. I can leave that with you to look at, and it tells more in detail about the program.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was so nice of you to come and tell about your own. Too bad we couldn't have someone. Give her the award. The award to yourself. This is awesome, and the garden it looks gorgeous as usual.
Congratulations, thank you very much.
Thanks for
The same presentation in front of the Environmental Commission, Kim Hess also received an honor. And if Kim, you could come forward and talk about the recognition you received.
I apologize I didn't bring our picture today, but I invite you all to come to Lakeside and see it. It's up on the wall, and we're very proud of it. We are recognized for our pollinator patch. The pollinator patch was put in actually in 2014. However, it became very overgrown, and a lot of the plants had died. So we took it on, and we've rebuilt the entire thing. And not only focusing on bee health, because that's the main focus why we put it in the first place, is colony collapse with the bee populations. But now we're also focusing a little more on the monarchs and pollinators in general. And it's been a team effort with our friends of Lakeside. They've come in and done a lot of work, and Missouri Master Naturalists. So all that together, we've actually rebuilt the entire garden, and it focuses, and it's doing fantastic. We have quite a bit of butterfly plant out there, milkweed, and the monarchs are coming in and doing what they're supposed to do. So
That's great.
It's been great.
Awesome. Do you feel like you get a lot of visitors that ask about it or what they could do at home or any?
We do, and we actually have quite a few pamphlets out if you're interested in rain gardens, how to put in a rain garden or a pollinator patch, or we're really focusing on native plants. The entire garden is native plants, which is the other thing we're kind of proud of. We had to switch out a few that we had put in initially, but yeah, so we're kind of focusing on Missouri natives, and all the plants we planted were actually grown. Not only are they Missouri natives, but they were grown in Missouri, so they're tolerant to the weather that we have here. So it should work a little bit better.
Great.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Okay.
All right, resolution number 30689.
Yes, Commissioner, this is in agreement with the Kansas City, Missouri Public Schools for improvements to Central Park. We have received some PIAC funds in the amount of $400,000 that would be used to improve the field and the track at Central Park, which is right across the street from Central High. You have a memo in your packet from Travis Kiefer that outlines the details, and if you have any questions, Travis is here to answer those.
Are there any questions of Travis regarding this project in partnership with Kansas City, Missouri School District? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 30690.
Yes, Commissioners, this is a consideration of agreement with Sage for marketing strategies, creative development, plan implementation, and management. You have a memo in your packet from Heidi Downer, our Director of Marketing and Events, and if you have any questions, Heidi would be glad to answer those, and I believe we have guests here from Sage.
Good afternoon. As you know, for the past 3 years, I believe, we've been working with Brockton Creative on website development, marketing, PR, and went out for rebid this year. Had 4 firms apply and interviewed all of them, narrowed it down to 2, and then narrowed it down to 1, and that would be Sage. And we're super excited to get working with them and see what kind of new, exciting branding and events and strategies and public relations they can bring to our team. And I'm going to introduce Kristen Leifers, and she can come up and introduce the rest of her team and tell us how excited they are to be working with us.
Shannon Jacks is entering the room.
Sorry, Richard and I were trying to do media.
Your agreement was approved.
What is it?
Don't talk past the sale.
That's all right.
Don't
Yeah.
talk past the sale.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Shannon. Tell us how you're going to do this.
Right in the middle of it.
So on behalf of the district, I just want to say thank you, not only to the board for passing it, but to staff for being really great to work with. As you may remember, we had over 200 students sign a petition to the Paya reps and City Council asking for the track and field improvements. So we're really excited to get the improvements in and ready for the start of school next year. But just a little plug that this is just the start of an overall master plan for Central Park. So we're hoping to continue to partner as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. Pleasure as always. And now back to and Cameron, you're happy to stick around for this next exciting part of what we're doing.
I'm Kristen Leifers. I'm with Sage, and I have with me Lane Cleaver, which is our owner, and then Natalie McCracken. We are both account supervisors. And we are super excited to work for Kansas City Parks this year, and excited for the opportunity to work with the team and develop some new ideas and do just some creative things that haven't been done in the past, and just offer up a lot of different new strategies for you to get some more public relations and media attention and things like that. So we're just very excited to meet everybody and get started.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. Any questions, comments?
The comment I would make, bullet point number 4, new story idea development, local media. I think that's one of our weaknesses. We do not get out to our local public what's going on in Kansas City every weekend, every week. And I think that's something that I would love to see some real concentration, and maybe just a spot on some of the TV Thursday or Friday afternoon or evening news broadcast about what's happening in Kansas City, so everybody kind of knows. I think it'll help us immensely, and for people traveling through to see that. I just think it's something we don't blow our own horn enough, and I think this is a great opportunity, and I was tickled to death to see that bullet point on there.
Very good. Great. And any other comments, questions? All right, is there a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 30691.
Yes, Commissioners, this is consideration of an agreement, actually amendment number 4 with Bike Share KC for another bike kiosk at McGee and Cleaver Boulevard 2. You have a memo in your packet from Terry that outlines the details of that. And if you have any questions, I'm sure Terry will be able to answer those.
Okay. Any questions of Terry regarding this resolution with Bike Share? Well, I'm just excited we continue to grow.
Yep,
Absolutely. That's been
I failed to mention Eric Rogers in the audience. This is your project, Eric.
Would you like to say anything, Eric? You're on the spot now, so.
Hello, Commissioners. Eric Rogers with Bike Walk KC. Just a little bit of history for you all. We've been here in the past, but Bike Share in Kansas City is a public-private nonprofit partnership. We currently have 28 stations around the city. 11 of those are either on the Parks Boulevard Parkway system or on park property. This would be the 29th station. It's part of a private development. T&N Realty is redeveloping an old apartment building just off of the plaza into a bike-themed project, taking advantage of the proximity to the trolley track trail and the Brush Creek Trail and some of the on-street bike facilities. It'll be right near the bike lanes on Cleaver Boulevard. So again, this will be in the public right-of-way on Cleaver Boulevard. We've worked with Public Works Department through the right-of-way team and park staff here, and happy to answer any questions. We're looking forward to adding this one, hopefully late September, or early October.
All right.
This is a huge success story. 29 is a lot of stations.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, how long has it been in business now?
Since July of 2012.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you've grown significantly.
we have, yeah.
How has it addressed expectations of the initial startup?
Well, this was so new for Kansas City. We went into it without a lot of expectations to see what happened. We did the first 12 locations in 2012 in conjunction with the All-Star Game, and then have grown slowly since then with a combination of public funding, private funding, philanthropic dollars. We had about 13,000 rentals last year, which was double the year before. What we're seeing is exponential growth. The way these systems work is there's a network effect. So if you add one station, you're not just increasing it by, say, 10%, you're actually increasing it by all of the connections between those. So for example, last year we increased the size of the system by about 30%, and we doubled usage. And we think we're on track to double usage again this year. We're still at the low end compared to other cities of similar size in terms of bike share usage, but we are growing quickly, and we're looking forward to a lot of the projects that are in the pipeline that will put infrastructure on the ground in terms of bike lanes and additional trails. So for example, we have 4 stations along Grand in the downtown area, and we're eagerly awaiting the project to put bike lanes there. And other connections like that. We also added a station at 18th and Vine, and we'll be able to take advantage of bike lanes that are planned to connect the Jazz District with the Crossroads and things like that.
So McGee, so tell me, this
Yeah.
is right by like Winstead's?
Big block, 2 blocks east of Winstead's.
Okay, but before you get to Oak. So is it on
Yeah.
the north or the south side of the
The
street?
southwest side of the street. It's, I would
Okay.
say, a block west of Oak.
Okay.
So the building was
Yeah.
called Plaza Towers.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's being rebranded as Plaza 209, the address.
Okay.
Where do you see the next kind of section or segment of growth for bike share case here? You could continue going south, or are you going to go east? Like, what's your plan?
A little bit of everything. So this fall, along with this station, we're adding another one at the Kansas City Art Institute. That one's on private property, so it's not before you here today. We have federal funding for about another 10 stations. On the Missouri side, we hope sometime late this year, early next year, depending on when the federal funds are obligated and we get notice to proceed. And for that, we are looking at mostly filling in the current footprint, which is between the River Market and Waldo. We haven't finalized all of those stations, but we have a few that will be supplemented with private funds. Other developers are also incorporating this in. Looking kind of generally at the Armour Corridor, Armour and Troost area, possibly Old Northeast.
Please
Yeah.
come to Old
Okay.
North. Yes. Terry.
So we do have, an unrelated matter, the HUD Choice Communities Grant
Right.
tentatively includes funding for up to 3 bike share stations.
Oh, cool.
And so we're
Yeah, I noticed that.
currently working with city staff to understand when and how that might happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How big is the station? How many bikes and how much does that cost?
This is a typical station. It's probably about 30 feet long by 5 or 6 feet wide. This one will be 11 docks. They range between 11 and 19 docks. They're modular, so depending on the site and the projected usage. And then in terms of bikes, we try to keep them with about a ratio of 2 to 1, so half of the docks open, half of the docks with bikes in them, so that when you come up to it, you have a bike to take out, or when you return, you have a dock to put the bike back into. Generally, capital costs are between $25,000 and $35,000 per station, depending on the configuration and things, whether it's solar, not solar, things like that.
Okay. Any growth up in the Northland?
Yeah, so we are actively working with the city of North Kansas City, being kind of the first location over the river, in partnership with the North Kansas City Business Council and the city itself. And so we've identified 4 or 5 possible locations. They're currently looking at options for funding some of those to get started. it helps to grow contiguously, and so we are starting to look at some other opportunities, say for satellite systems where there are concentrations of activity and density. So in the long run, in the Northland, looking at things like Antioch or Zona Rosa, possibilities like that might be a good fit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Is there a motion for acceptance of the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
Motion is seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Motion passes. Resolution number 30692.
Yes, Commissioners, this is a resolution supporting the master plan and location of the Shoto Heritage Fountain. You have a memo in your packet from Travis that outlines the details, and I know we have several guests in the room today to talk about this particular project. And Jimmy's going to introduce.
Yes. I'm Jimmy Lassing. I'm Senior Landscape Architect. Today we have the two co-chairs, Keith Nelson and Mary Jo Burton, as part of the Shoto Founders, Shoto Fountain Founders. And then for the steering committee, we had Commissioner Mecklenburg and Dillingham, and then also Megan Krieger. So I'm going to have Mary Jo come up and speak a couple words. We're going to make this brief, and also I have a cool video. So while I'm getting ready to push play, do you want to talk before? Yes.
I'm sorry, did I get 2 words?
Yes.
Joe, you don't know even that.
It was 5 right there.
Oh, this is the pitch piece, isn't it?
Mary Jo Burton, thank you. I am thrilled to represent the folks who have been working behind the scenes, which is a large steering group of advisors and supporters and whatnot, to make a spot on Shoto Parkway a destination for visitors and local folks to learn a little bit about the founder of Kansas City and the beginning of commerce that may have actually taken place there with the first trading post in the Kansas City area. Francois Shoto, in fact, the namesake for the Shoto Parkway and the Shoto Greenway. And we have a lovely historical and artistic and cultural opportunity that we are about ready to raise a lot of money for. So with that, we'll let Jimmy show the video on the big screen.
Click off the...
It's going to be a shotcrete concrete wall that creates the bluff. This is the bluff of the Missouri River and the Rock Creek. It's going to have interpretive panels. This is the view as if you were from the north going south. We're going to have pictures of the 3 sculptures that are going to be on the bluff. That would be Francois Shoto and 2 Native Americans that he's trading with. The group has worked with to develop some concepts for the bronze sculptures. This is what it's going to look at night. This is another sculpture of a Kansan hunting the beaver. And this is a view from as you are going south on Shoto Parkway. Interesting fact, right now we have 20,000 average daily traffic on Shoto Parkway. The project team was Landworks, Hydrodramatics, Strata, and Transsystems. And then, most importantly, if you want to consider a donation, you want to go to City of Fountains Foundation and make sure that you know when you make your donation that it's for the Shoto Heritage Fountain. So today we're asking for final approval of the location and then the design of the fountain.
Any questions, any comments anybody wants to make?
So nice, I like it.
A couple of comments. Basically, the location that was, one out of 8 locations we looked at, where we did it, it sits into a hillside surrounded by trees, minimal sound, and you have the opportunity to go back and almost feel like you're back in the time frame when this happened. The history is Rock Creek poured into the Missouri River, and at that site is where the initial trading post was set up. So it was early, not only local, but international commerce here in this Kansas City area. It lended itself beautifully for that. We have some best management practices in front of it in the way of rain gardens, so it's an expansion of that type of thing, and it not only exhibits the history, but also the current attitudes of conservation.
It looked like there were native grasses and native plants and stuff in that depiction. Is that correct? Make it look, that's so wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. It's, I think it's just a fabulous place. It's, we have our newly redone Shoto traffic way there, which is beautiful, and this just adds to it. We looked at several different spots, and I just think it's going to be beautiful there. It's an absolutely beautiful fountain, really nice area. Thanks to Keith for spearheading this. It's just amazing what this can become down here. And so Dick Davis, former council person, and appreciate all your help. And it's it's really exciting. So glad this is here today, and glad to see we're moving forward with it.
Very good. With that, would you like to make a motion to accept?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Resolution passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 30693, capital improvements.
Yes, Commissioners, this is for consideration of the 2017-18, 2020-21, which is the 5-year capital improvement program. You have a memo in your packet from Travis, and you have the complete document attached to that. And Richard Allen is our project manager on this 5-year capital plan, and he's here today to answer any questions you might have, and we're going to recommend approval.
Okay.
All right. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Today is we're just requesting approval of our 5-year request to Paya, and then this is broken out into categories, and so we have mandated projects, leveraged projects, park maintenance projects, right-of-way in city right-of-way that Parks maintains, and then other projects that is pretty much the needs of the department where we don't have either leverage funds or they don't fall in other category. And so this will go before the Paya Committee for consideration, and then they'll have hearings on Fridays from 9 to 12, starting in September, carrying on through November. And so they'll hear from all the city departments. Right now, they're concluding their neighborhood input process. They had a meeting at City Hall last Friday. Tonight, they have one at Gym Theater, Wednesday at Hillcrest, Thursday at NNI. And so that'll conclude the input process. They're currently, citizens can request PIAC funds until August 31st through online or by paper. And so with that, I will gladly say that some of our leverage projects were in the other category. Last year, we were able to go get $6 million for the Maple Woods Parkway, which is a joint project supported by Council District 1 and 2, the Pacelle Gateway, which is a good team process between the different departments. Looks like we're gonna receive $5 million from STP funds. And then we have an MOU in place with Platte County that we want to develop into a cooperative funding agreement for Platte Purchase Park and then Tiffany Hills Park. And then we were able to get TAP funds, which is Transportation Alternative Programming for Lakewood Greenway, the trolley track connector trail. And so it's always the goal to get the projects, those 37 projects in the other category, up to the leverage or mandated. So with that, I'll answer any questions.
Okay. I think we had an extensive discussion about this. At our pre-board workshop. And I think, Richard, we commend you and the rest of the staff for putting this together and continuing to push this out.
Absolutely.
And I would encourage the other commissioners, when you get a chance, to please show up to the presentation. I think it's on the 16th, is that what it is, of September? Make sure we're there in attendance, as well as at any other neighborhood ones, to advocate for these on behalf of our department. So, and ultimately, on behalf of the neighborhoods in which the projects happen. So, any other questions, comments? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to accept the resolution?
Second.
Motion seconded, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, resolution passes. Thank you, sir. Okay, resolution number 30694 related to the Kansas City Museum.
Yes, Commissioners, this is for consideration of a resolution supporting the design work, basically design work to date for the Kansas City Museum. Anne Marie is going to tell us a little bit about the work to date and ask for your approval of the work. And she'll also introduce members of the team.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, Commissioners. We're really excited to be at this point after about 16 months of working with International Architects Atelier. I do want to introduce our planning team. Elizabeth Majid from International Architects Atelier, Andy Short from IA as well, City Architect Eric Bosch, Steph Hedenkamp, our communications specialist. Travis, of course, has been very instrumental, and so has Jimmy Lossing in our process to date. So, Andy, do you want to show some boards? Yeah. So since last April 2015, we've been working on two primary phases of design. The first was the discovery phase, where we looked at existing conditions of the property. The architects did their surveys, their assessment planning. Then we moved on to phase two, which we have called the master planning phase. And the architects have been focused on a space planning report. And that has really identified the programming and space needs to create a first-rate history museum in Kansas City. Also laying out the phases of design and stages of construction, architectural floor plans, some select renderings, and then cost estimates for each of those stages. We are envisioning 5 stages of construction, with stages 1 through 4 focused on the restoration and renovation of all existing buildings, grounds, perimeter, fence, and gates. Stage 5, later down the road, if we're successful with stages 1 through 4, which I anticipate we will be, envisioning an expansion on the property, so new building construction that would give us more form and functionality for a museum environment. We are asking today for approval on the design work that we have done thus far. Andy, do you want to show the floor plans? Design work that we've done thus far for stage 1 of construction. Stage 1 of construction includes lower level, first floor, and second floor of the mansion. So giving us room for gallery space for exhibitions on Kansas City history, program space, earned revenue opportunities like a museum store and a museum cafe that will also have a demonstration kitchen for ethnic and cultural cooking, facility for back of the house functions for collections and staff on the lower level. The first floor being restored back to its historic character architecturally and used for display, used for programs and events. So for rental opportunities in particular, visitors, renters will have full access to the museum's first floor. We are designing both a first-rate history museum and also a mayoral mansion, where the city, not where the mayor will reside, but where he or she will have official gatherings for the city and special events. So this is where we are right now. The architects are ready to dive into design development, construction documents, and bid documents for Phase 3, with the hope that we start construction on Stage 1 in 2017.
Pardon?
Oh, I'm sorry, and the green room on the second floor has been designated as a Parks Board meeting room, also as a space that can be used for other community meetings. And here are some renderings. So we're looking at the second floor landing, so you can see up into the second floor the historic architecture that will remain and be restored, moving into more contemporary gallery spaces. The billiards room will be restored on the lower level and be used as a billiards room. The salon, you see a rendering of it there. Just architecturally, we don't have our exhibit renderings just yet because we're in the process of working with Gallagher & Associates, a museum planning and design firm, on designating the full story journey for the mansion and understanding which gallery spaces will hold collection space materials and which will be used for changing, rotating exhibits. And then you're looking at a preliminary rendering of the museum cafe.
Can you look up that's the board for the phases?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we're in Phase 2 right now, entering into Phase 3?
Yes, that's exactly right. And each stage of construction will open upon completion. So the goal is that we start construction on the mansion in 2017, and the mansion would reopen in 2019. Our property would still be active.
So I guess my question was, will we have to complete Phase 3 prior to beginning Stage 1?
Exactly, yes. Yes, Phase 3 moves us into full design development, construction documents, bid documents, getting ready for construction. It's hard to believe, I know.
It is really hard to believe.
And exciting.
I'm stunned. This is wonderful. Okay, I'll stop talking.
Okay. Other questions, comments? Exciting project. We've got a lot of work to do.
Yes.
I think the design piece is great. I think the next piece is raising the money to.
Yes. Yes.
So you have another question?
We'd love to see it get to that point. I think we all have our work cut out for us, and I think
Agreed.
where we're at right now is right where we need to be. But at the same time, we got to make sure we're realistic in what we're raising, or what we can and cannot do.
Absolutely.
So,
Are we closing the building in between now and beginning construction?
No, we're remaining open. Yeah, we'll be open, and when we start construction, we'll have to close the mansion, but the property will still be open. And staff will be working on programs and events for now and into the future.
Okay, but the mansion itself will be.
It'll have to be.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. Make sure you keep Paul busy.
Yes. Yes, he's
I'll keep them active.
Keep him busy, right? So
They're all outdoors.
outdoors, yes.
Good stuff. And that was a great event. Was it last Friday or the Friday before? I can't remember.
Yes, we had about
Oh,
700
great.
people.
That
It was
really was
incredible.
awesome. But even the
For the 2
baseball
days,
exhibit, everything
yes.
was fantastic. Congratulations on a
Thank
great
you.
event.
Thank you.
Okay, hearing no other further comments, questions, is there a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, very good. Resolution passes. Okay.
Work and design.
Resolution number 30695.
Yes, Commissioners, Anna Marie touched on this briefly in her earlier comments, and this would be to move into the next phase of design. Recommend approval.
And I do have one correction to your memo. Stage 1 is lower first and second floor of the mansion. I had said first, second, and third in your memo, but it's lower first and second of the mansion.
Thank you.
Comments, questions?
Nope.
All right. Is there a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good.
Thank you.
All right, Elizabeth, go to work.
Good luck.
Yes. Work and design, yes.
But no, it is a fun and exciting work.
Very much.
Not many projects like this, sincerely appreciate it, and we will make sure that everybody will be very proud of this project.
Okay. You'll share that message with Majid as well, right?
All right. Resolution number 30696.
Yes, Commissioners, this is a consideration of an agreement for a sidewalk cafe located at 1520 Grand Boulevard. You have a memo in your packet from Forrest, who's not here. Sherry's going to handle that, and I believe we have a guest as well.
I'm here to answer any questions.
That's Banks over there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Sherry. What are we doing?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. The Record Bar, which you may have remembered used to be in Westport, has moved. They left Westport, I think, January 2nd, I believe, was their last day open in Westport. And they moved to 1520 Grand, soft opening, I believe, in May, and then opened this summer. And they've approached us about using space on our boulevard to set up tables and have permanent railing and so forth. They're an entertainment venue, plus they have gourmet menu selections, and we're happy to have them on our property. They will be paying normally $4,800 a year, but for this first period, it's prorated because the time expires. Everybody renews on January 1, so they're paying basically 1/3 of that, $1,600 for the rest of this calendar year, and then we'll come back to renew, hopefully, in January.
Great.
So, did you have anything you wanted to add, Banks?
No, we just look forward to the opportunity. It's being new in development. It's fun to sit and listen to all the other things going on, and it's very, very impressive. So, again, we appreciate the board's opportunity and look forward to having a nice outdoor seating area.
Very good.
Cool.
Well, glad you guys are back
Absolutely.
operating. I love Record Bar. Some of the best bar food in town. I can tell you guys had a great food event. I love that place, and so good luck to you guys on your new location and everything. Wish you the best. If I could make the motion, I'd make it, but let's have somebody else make it, because if anybody would like to have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion seconded and third, so all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Very good. Resolution passes. Best of luck to you. Now, resolution number 30697.
Yes, Commissioners, this is consideration of an agreement, or actually amendments, with HDR Engineering to work on the Blue River Confluence Trail, where it connects to Brush Creek. The amount of the amendment is $9,996. If you have any questions, Travis is here to answer those.
All right, any questions? So, Travis?
We talked about it earlier.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, resolution passes. Resolution number 30698.
Yes, Commissioners, change order 1 with Gunter Construction Company for work they're doing up at Waterworks Park. You can see the memo from Travis. It outlines the details, and he is here to answer any questions you might have.
All right, any other questions, comments?
The only thing I'll say is we're getting an awful lot of favorable comment from the neighborhood surrounding this, and oftentimes we don't hear that until after the fact, but just the fact that this is going on, a lot of people are really into it, and are thinking of all kinds of new things we can do.
This is a great old park. It's neat to see some improvements out there.
Okay, is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, resolution passes. Gifts and contributions.
One gift to the Insurance Endowment from Mark Bryant for $200. Recommend acceptance.
Is there a motion to accept? All right. Anybody want to?
So moved.
All right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
Aye.
Director's report.
Travis, major construction.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Good afternoon. You have in front of you a diagram of the West Terrace off-leash dog park. And West Terrace was one of the areas identified back in the 2010 study for dog parks around the city. And staff made a recommendation in 2011 on that report that accepted, I believe it was 13 sites around the city, and West Terrace was one of those sites. With this particular project, it's about a 2-acre off-leash area. Off-leash areas were defined in the study as smaller areas that would fit more in a downtown setting. And With this, we had a partnership with the William T. Kemper Foundation to the tune of about $480,000 they donated for this park. You can see the overall plan on page 2 there, what the park will look like. Just for orientation, west is to the top of that page. So you have the black vinyl coated chain link fence around the perimeter of the park. You have some of the ornamental iron fence where it matches up to some of the features within the park itself, and then the ADA access will be on the north end, and there's ADA parking up there, and they will be able to access all the way to the large pavilion. And there's also access on the south end, and they'll be able to access that trail, go through the gate, and go all the way to the extent of that south leg. Between the pavilion and the south leg, though, there's a segment, a connecting segment that has stairs in them. So there, and some of those can be seen from the attached photographs. So they expect to complete the construction of this this fall, but it won't be open until next spring because of the got to let the grass get established.
Okay.
In there, so.
Very good. Exciting project.
Thank you.
Okay, Heidi, update on marketing, please.
Okay, well, since we last met, we've had a couple of big events. We had the Feast of Fountains at the Spirit of Freedom Fountain, and it was hot. After that, we had Rock the Block at Union Station, which went well. As you know, we condensed it and did it earlier in the day, and left out the late evening activities, so that was a very positive event. And then, of course, we had the news conference for the National Register, for our listing in the National Register of Historic Places. So that was last Wednesday. Had some good media attention on that. I saw it even on the news this morning again.
Oh, really?
They were broadcasting live from Parade Park talking about it, so that's kind of cool. Of course, we also had the Ethnic Enrichment Festival. And in spite of, I guess, the torrential downpour on Friday night, it was record-breaking attendance throughout the weekend on Saturday and Sunday. It'll be a while before we have the official numbers, but Melinda feels that it was bigger and better than last year, which had been bigger than better in all the previous years.
There were a ton of people there on Saturday. Ton.
And then also on Saturday was the Mulkey Ball Field ribbon cutting and play ball event. Busy stuff. So coming up, this weekend, we have the Rhythm and Balloons Festival in Hodge Park, which is going to be exciting to see. They've got
How's
a great...
the weather look? Ripe for balloons or not?
It's cooling down, but it's a little light, the rain symbol.
Most of the heavy rain's supposed to be gone by then, by Saturday anyway, but, yeah.
Okay.
The balloons had a lot of winds, a big factor.
I know, the wind, so hopefully we'll be able to get some of the balloon glows and the tethering and the competition up in spite of the weather. But nonetheless, you can still come see Eddie Money.
Yeah.
And Travis Tritt. And Los Lobos, and there was Joe Di Messina, plus a lot of local bands. So they got quite a lineup. Like she said, they do a lot of good music in case the weather is bad, and you just can look at the balloons sitting there. And then we have another Art in the Park event this Friday down at Islas Davis Park. As you recall, we have those art installations, and then on the last Friday of each month from June through September, we have performance art going on and some food trucks. Then we just go on to Jazz in the Roses, and then our final Feast of Fountains Food Truck Fest will take place on September the 8th, and that will be at the concourse. Just a FYI, the very first 3 days of September, the J.C. Nichols Fountain will be dyed gold for children's childhood cancer awareness. And then, of course, following that on the 9th, Red Friday, it will be red for the Chiefs season opener. So, dog swim parties, rescue cart walk, and then we just carry on into fall. We are working on the fall program guide for the community centers. We are going to do another Discover Day where you can come in and participate in some of the new fall programming and activities. That's on September the 17th from 10 to 2. That will be at Line Creek, Greg Kleiss. and Southeast Community Center. So we'll be pushing that via social media, some paid advertising, and then just getting the word out to come and check us out for fall. It's hard to believe, but that's it. Social media numbers keep going up, which is always exciting to see. And they probably will be more so now that we're going to be working with Sage. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sure.
Very well done. All right. We had somebody on the public hearing, but I think they left. Calendar review.
Just briefly, Commissioners, the other item on the calendar for August, Starlight Board meeting, 7:30 in the morning of the 25th, and then at noon that day, we have a meeting of the KC Museum Foundation Board, and that is here in our building, Carmen?
Yes.
Okay. And then September, 2 board meetings, one on the 13th, one on the 27th, and then several of our partner groups meet, City of Founds Foundation, Friends of the Zoo, Starlight Board meeting again. Starlight Gala on the 24th. I could probably also mention the event at Liberty Memorial on the 17th that we talked about earlier. That's that prior Saturday night. And then, we won't look at October, November yet. It's not quite that time of the year, but the calendars are all here, right, Carmen?
Yeah, that's not.
This takes us all the way till, all the way to 2017, so.
See, I'm glad I gave that compliment at the beginning to Carmen, man. She's ahead of the game.
Yeah, she's thinking ahead.
And I don't even buy ripe bananas.
Okay. All right. Anything else? I think we're good to go. All right, with that, meeting is adjourned.